Hey, this is Jim Reed with Next Level Coaching, and I'm here with my friend Mark Massa today. He is a loan officer at Summit Funding. He's also a coach in our program. Mark, welcome to our podcast. How are you?
I'm doing great. I'm super honored. Thank you for not letting me know what the topic was going to
I
be.
don't do that. You know I don't do that. Everything's
Yeah.
real. No,
So
no,
now I'm ready.
no rehearsing. No rehearsing. You
Yeah,
don't
no
have to
nerves, no
rehearse to
nothing.
tell
I'm
the
like,
story of your
waiting.
life. Otherwise it's fake,
I
right?
love it.
People do things like this and they want to make themselves look bigger and better than they are,
Yeah.
and I don't think that helps anybody. I think right now it's September 20th, 2022. We just got done with the previous 2 years were really, really good. This year is slowly declining. Loans are tough to get. People are looking in the mirror and trying to figure out if this business is right for them or not. Half the people listening to this are seriously thinking about getting out of the business.
I agree.
And I have to be honest real quick, and this is a side note, like, Mark, what's your backup plan?
I don't have one.
Good. Stop right there.
Yep.
That's the right answer. If when I said that, you were listening to this and you thought of your backup plan, do us all a favor. Probably time to go. You're not going to make it if you have a backup plan. I don't have one, man.
Yep.
I'm running around scrambling, fixing P&Ls, looking for new clients, recruiting loan officers, doing open houses because I don't have a backup plan.
Yep.
I just don't have one. So,
I love
good
that.
answer, dude. You hit a home run on the first question. I like it.
Woo.
So we were just chatting before this, and I started to ask you how long you've been at Summit. So pick us up from there. How long you been at Summit?
Yeah, so I just had my 13th year about 2 weeks ago. And the story behind that is I've been in the industry for 25 years.
What?
But I always like to say I have two chapters in my real estate or mortgage career. The first one was all refi. I was given leads. It was kind of like just a dialer station. Worked for only two companies for those first 12 and a half years. And then I found my wife, got married, came over here to the Central Valley, and I was
You did that for 12 years?
12 years, yeah.
What's the most you ever made doing that?
That's a great question. It was 240,000.
Wow, you're pretty good at it.
Yeah.
Like,
And I thought that was
that much doing that, you're pretty good at it.
I thought that was the ceiling. I was like, there's no way. Because the year before that, it was maybe 100,000. And I was super proud of that. I mean, that's a lot of money, but I didn't think that I can go any higher than that. And then I didn't think I can go any higher than 240.
Cool. So keep going on your journey. Tell us.
I meet my wife. She's originally from Lodi, Woodbridge, Acampo. And I come over here and I don't know anybody, not a single realtor, not a single lender, nobody. And I asked my in-laws who they basically purchased their home with. They refer me this one agent. I go to meet with the agent and I say, what company should I work for? He goes, Summit Funding has a great reputation. So I interviewed with Stephen Len Nielsen. And then I go through the whole Summit Funding HR protocol. And I'm like 6 interviews in. And I'm like, can I ask you a question? You guys aren't going to give me any leads. You guys want me to just focus on purchases. And I'm in my 6th interview and you still haven't hired me. And that's when I knew I found the right company, because Summit was all about character. They're not trying to fill in seats. They want people like that are going to prove that they're going to have longevity, that they're going to have integrity, that they have a drive, right? And I've never looked back. So here I am 13 years later.
Wow. Stephen Lynn started, I think it was the 3rd. It could be wrong. 1, 2, 3. The 4th branch of Summit. First one was mine, Sac. Todd started it, and I took it over. Second one was Elk Grove. Third one was Reno. I think the 4th one was Lodi.
Yeah.
Back in the day, man. So let's see. So you've been with us for 13 years, and how long have you been in coaching?
I've been in coaching since you guys started the pilot program. So it was 4 years into it. So it's been about 9 years.
Wow. So tell us what coaching has done to you, for you and your business, personal life, all that stuff.
It's
Uh-oh. What's
hold
happening?
on. Yeah. No, I get a little emotional just because
Good for you.
I get asked this, and I know there's 3 things that have changed my career. The first one is coaching. The second one is building a team. And the third one is the greatness tracker within coaching, right? I don't know where I would be without coaching. Like, I live for it. I love being a coach. I love giving back. I love that I get the honor of being chosen to be a coach. Like it's a pretty unbelievable feeling to see the impact that you make on other loan officers. And I love being coached as well. So what it's done for me, in fact, I had a little cheat sheet. Keep this in my pocket. Keep me home. Remind me.
Really?
This literally is a small little breakdown I have in my wallet of where I started in 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, both in volume and in income, where it's taken me.
Wow.
And, from 2017, when I really started going, I was at like 94 units, 25 million. And at the peak, I was in 2020, I did 203 units for 67 million.
So what's the biggest, how did coaching help you with that?
Oh, just being surrounded by like-minded people that have the same drive, that have the same goals, that want to be pushed. I remember someone saying, rich people respond to pressure, poor people respond to praise.
Yeah.
And I was like, man, that's me. Like, I really love to be like, have pressure, right? Although words of encouragement or words of affirmation is my number one love language, I love the pressure of being around a coaching environment where there's no BS. You call it what it is. There's no fluff. You're looking at true numbers. Everyone's going through the same thing. And then you get to push each other. You get to set goals. And you get to like be surrounded by friends as well. They become your friends. These coworkers become
Listen,
friends.
I think you're onto it, because like when people think about being in our coaching program or being in a coaching program, especially ours, a lot of them get confused and they think that it's about like getting beat up or it's militant. And if that works for you, then it works for you. And if it doesn't work for you, then it doesn't work for you. And I don't think anything could be farther from the truth.
Yep.
The reason coaching works and has worked in my life is because of the people I get to hang out with.
Yep.
Like, yeah, the classes are great. The tactics are awesome. Yes, they work. The scripts, they work. And the forms, if you use them, they will help you grow. But the biggest lift is from hanging out with people that you see achieve these crazy numbers, and you get to hang out with them and talk to them, and you realize they're just another loan rep.
Yeah.
They're just another loan rep. They're just executing better. They just copied someone's system better. They weren't born like ready to roll. They just been working on their craft. And so if you're out there listening, it's like, at the events, we do 2 events a year. Those are your times to hang out with the people.
Love
That's
that.
the time to like grab people that are in the program and have good results and hang out with them. I think you nailed it. So the market's changed. People are downsizing. I was just this morning I was reading an article, and a credit union, I hate them credit unions. They already got them crazy low rates. They don't have that crazy low rate nowadays, but
that's good to know.
Yeah. So the biggest credit union in my area is Golden One, and they laid off 70% of their staff. 70%. That's crazy.
That is crazy.
But like those companies, banks and stuff, they get really impacted by the refinance market.
Yep.
More than we do. So they're going to have a bigger bulge and they're going to have a bigger downturn. But for every company I know, people are downsizing. How are you handling that?
Yeah, that's a great question. Because we get coached and because we're looking at our personal budget and because we're looking at the profit and loss every single month, we're able to decide whether or not we're running heavy or we're running light. And for sure, based upon leads and based upon volume, I've had to make a transition lately too, where I've had to go from I've always had a really great boutique team where I've had a strong LP2 and a strong LP1, and then myself. But based upon the volume recently, I've had to let go of the LP1. But I know that I'm going to thrive and I'm going to survive based upon just me and this other LP2, because she has all of the great characteristics and traits that I need in an LP1 also. That's where I started her from. I groomed her from an LP1 so she can just slip back into that role a little bit. But how I'm handling is,
well, hold on, let's talk about that.
Yeah.
So you were a team, what I think is like, for the normal loan officer, by normal I mean not the super freak, Like the super freak is the person who's trying to do like 60 loans a month by themselves.
I'm
And
good.
some people are that way, some people aren't. But by normal, that's not the right word. For a really good loan rep, a 3-person team gives you a balanced life and the ability to respond and take care of people at a high level. You have a
Yes.
loan partner 1, and their top 3 jobs are follow up on leads and handle the lead tracker, handle the schedule and the calendar for everybody on the team, especially the loan rep, making sure they're doing what they're supposed to be doing, and then making sure the marketing, like the email program of the week and the evidence of success postcard going out to the database once a month, and once a month happy hour and the once a month leverage event, making sure those things are happening and make
Yes.
sure that people are right. So they do those 3 things. And then the loan partner 2 picks up the deal once it's in contract, discloses it, updates the client, collects conditions, and takes that busy work out of control, out of the hands of the loan rep. And then the loan rep freed up to spend more time with referral partners. So you can get to 150 loans a year. How much do you make per deal?
About 45.
Okay, so 4,000 times 150 is what? 400 and 200, 600 grand.
Yeah, 600 grand.
3-person team.
Yeah.
That's like my dream for every loan officer at Summit, to get to their own 3-person team. And I know it may seem right now like the market is like so different that like it's gonna happen again.
Yep.
Like our job is to outlast them. If you're listening to this, it's weird right now, but I promise you it's weird for everybody. All you gotta do is not give up.
Yep.
Keep picking up the phone. So what I wanted to ask you is, and let's struggle through this together. You had a 3-person team, and now you got a 2-person team. For other people on this call, maybe they had their own loan partner, and now they have to share. And so there has to be, you have to adapt. And so now there's 2 people on the team, but there used to be 3. So how did you divide up the responsibilities? How did you handle that part of the management?
I love that you just asked that. In fact, that was one of my homework assignments by my coach, because of the impact of what he knew that was going to have on my team. And so what we did was, I don't know if can I share my screen?
Sure. But
Cool.
make sure that you tell us what it says too, because lots of people just listen, don't watch.
Okay, perfect. Let me see if I can share it here.
Man, I think you can, dude. You know you're out beyond my realm right now.
All right.
There we go.
Cool. So this is Massa team tasks. And so obviously my LP2, when she knew that we were getting rid of my LP1, she knew that she was going to have to take on about 20 or 30 more responsibilities. And some of them she was trained for, others she was not. And so that's a big burden when you just lay on 20 or 30 extra tasks. So what I did was I met with her 3 days after. And what I did was I broke things up into daily versus weekly versus monthly tasks. And I assigned who should be responsible for what. And if you're looking at this, or if you're not looking at this, what you'll see is on my LP2's column, she has about 90% to 95% of the tasks.
Well, let me ask you this. What did you take back on? So you got a loan partner 2 now.
Yep.
And I described the 3 jobs of a loan partner 1 and a loan partner 2. So when you downsized and you went to 1 person because of your volume, right? Because of your units going down, what did you take back over?
The only thing that I took back over was I offered to do some of our thank you and sympathy cards, not all of them, just some of them. So I gave it to both her and I.
Well, whose job is it to call leads?
Hers.
Oh, whose job is it to get new contracts?
Mine.
Oh, well, what do you mean by that? Who's going to disclose and get the loan file moving?
Well, to get people in a contract, that's my job. But once the contract comes in, that's her responsibility. Contract.
So listen, I'm going to help you.
Yep.
So you got 1 assistant, no matter what you call them, a loan partner 1, a loan partner 2, it don't matter. So the most important thing is a new lead or a new contract. Which one's more important?
New contract.
Okay. So you get 2 or 3 new, like I think you told me before this call, you had 4 or 5 new contracts from the weekend.
Yep.
And she has to work on those, right?
Correct.
Okay. So then over the weekend, you also get 4 new leads. Which one does she work on first?
The leads.
Okay. So then the next day you get four more new leads. Which one does she work on first?
The leads.
Okay. So now the contracts have been sitting for 2 days. Now the third day you get some more leads because you did a seminar. Which one does she work on first?
The leads. So
Okay.
she's got to delegate.
Well,
We
hold
have
on.
that
Delegate
thing.
to who?
We have right now existing, we have a shared resource group where we can,
Okay, well, let's say we didn't have that. Like if
yep,
we didn't have that, like if you're building a team from scratch
yep,
and you hired a loan partner too to do contract to close, who would handle the leads?
I would.
Cool. So now you have a contract to close. Who should handle the leads?
I should.
You should.
Yep.
Because I'm like, listen, I don't, I've been doing this too long not to know this basic truth about support people. First of all, we need them. They do a great job. They care. Second of all, almost every one of them, if given the choice between calling somebody or working on paperwork, will choose which one.
Working on the paperwork.
Is there any doubt?
No doubt.
If you have a new lead and you don't call it right away in this market, what will happen?
They'll go somewhere else. Easy.
Yes. So honestly, I think that you should consider taking over new leads, or at least if you're trying to have her do leads, and this is important, Mark, because everybody out there is struggling with this topic.
Yep.
And I have coached on this more in the last 2 weeks. I'm glad it came up than I have in a long time. When you have a 3-person team and you go to a 2-person team, like it's really hard as a loan rep
Balance.
because you are so spoiled when you have 2 people.
Yes, for
If you
sure.
can originate enough business to keep 2 people busy, it is so good. It is so perfect.
Yep.
Someone's helping you on the marketing and the new leads to make sure they're getting followed up on. Someone's helping you on the new contracts to make sure they're not sitting around. Your kid has a baseball game, you can take off and go watch it, and someone's gonna follow up on the lead, and someone's gonna push the paperwork. It does not stink.
No, it's
It
not.
does not stink. It is really good. Dr.
Yep.
Nurse Todd kind of created that. It does not stink. It is really, really good. But this is when I look back at downturns in our industry, it's 2 years, and we're about maybe a little more than a year in. By a little more, I mean like a month. We're about a year in, so I think we got a full year, maybe a full year and a half to go. And so we got to do some different stuff, but it's not forever. Like sometimes when I'm coaching people on this topic, they act like it's forever.
Right.
It's not forever. You're not staying where you're at. You're regrouping and you're going to grow again.
Correct.
But right now, Greatness Tracker is the most important form, followed right behind it by Lead Tracker.
Right.
So, you can do it the way you're doing it. If I was coaching you, I'd say that's fine. But in the morning on the team meeting, if she's got 3 contracts and 4 leads, you grab the leads, let her do the contract.
Love that. You got it.
You can adjust it a little bit on a daily basis, can't you?
Yeah, right now we've got 2 time slots where she's designated to call leads, 1 hour slot in the morning, 1 hour slot, or not hour, but half-hour slot in the morning, half-hour slot in the afternoon, and then she does the 4 p.m. text. So then I can touch base with the leads as well in the
How long
evening.
does it take per lead? Now, listen, I'm not making fun of you. I'm gonna poke holes in your argument. You ready?
No, it's okay.
How long is
okay.
it per lead?
When I do the follow-up at 4 o'clock or when I do the call?
No, like the amount of labor hours for every lead you get is 45 minutes. Calling them, scheduling them, entering their data, uploading their docs, helping them upload their docs, calling them back because they missed something, reschedule them because they had to reschedule, confirming the appointment, all that stuff. On average, I tracked it for a while. It could be a little different now, but when I did it, it was 45 minutes on average per lead.
A lot of time.
It ain't 2 minutes.
Nope.
Right? You got to call them, triangle for trust, explain the process, pick a time, gather some of their information, help them upload their docs, or you could zip them a little online app and have them go online to fill out their app. Don't do that. Don't do that. Make it easy for them until they get to you, and then make it hard for them. But as you can divide it up the way you're doing it, as long as on a daily basis, you manage the workflow. So it could work your way 70 or 80% of the time. But when you get I always feel like contracts come in bunches like bananas.
Yeah.
And so do leads.
Yeah.
And sometimes the two bunches come together, and then the loan officer's got to step back in. Like you got to like, now I know you would. We're speaking to a bunch of people listening who are going through what you're going through, and they want to do the same thing that you want to do, which is have one loan partner do both jobs pretty much.
Yeah.
I've never seen it work long term. I think the only way it could work long term is if at the daily team meeting, you jump in on
Cool.
leads more often. You got to call them anyway.
Yep.
And you got to call the agents anyways. So if you're listening out there, that's the only tweak I would make to your plan. So what else did you take back over?
A little bit of the marketing and the gifting.
What do you do for Mark? Like, what is your two best things you're doing right now to create leads? Two best tactics. Like you shared one with me a little bit. What tell us about that one?
Yeah, so what we did was we acquired a list of pre-approved clients throughout the last couple of years that never turned into anything. Just they got buyer's remorse, they were discouraged, had too much rejection, and they just fell out. They had buyer's fatigue. And so enter this
Buyer's fatigue. That's a good one. I hadn't heard that.
Yeah, I kind of say that to them too. Like, don't get buyer's fatigue, just hang in there. Come on, hang in there. Let's go. So we've got this new equity builder program now that gives our buyers up to 10% towards their down payment and closing costs. So we had a little script. I had a dialer basically call through over, I would say 30 plus old pre-approved clients. And in one day, she re-engaged 12 of those just based off the equity builder program. And so it was 12 leads in one day. So we're still trying to play a little bit of catch up and try and get those back on my appointment so we can revisit things, get them back into the market and get them fully pre-approved again. So that's one tactic that we're doing. We're really big on the database. I mean, we're basically reaching out to them almost either once a week or once every 2 weeks. Most of my business comes from database. You know,
most of your business comes from your database?
Mm-hmm.
Tell me more about that.
Yeah. Well, Robin taught me a long time ago. It took me a couple years of being coached with her for it to finally sink in of the letter of the heart. And when I finally got going and I got into a good rhythm and I started doing it on a monthly basis for 7 years now, that thing has been absolute gold. So that is a staple in our industry, in my business, where I literally have clients that are thanking me for it. I have clients that reach out. They feel like they already know me because of all the stories that I've been able to tell them about my family, about my life in general, vacations, you name it. And so that drums up every single time it goes out. We typically get at least 3 or 4 new leads coming back. Hey, I need to repurchase. Hey, we're looking to buy a second home. Hey, we're looking to downsize. Hey, we're looking to upgrade. So that's really, and we do a mailer, right? So I have my top 250 clients get it via mail. I have my top 50 referring partners get it by mail. We do a bomb.
You mail it to your agents and your database.
Correct. So that's hits the P&L. It's about $500 or $600 a month. Then we do a bomb blast, so that goes directly to everybody.
Hold on a minute.
Yep.
That's 300 people. You're spending $2 a thing?
Yeah.
Why so much?
Why so much? I thought that was a good deal. Is that not a good deal?
Are you using a mail house?
Yeah.
Do you send it first class every time?
Not first class. Nope.
Oh. Do they stuff all the envelopes and all that for you?
They do everything.
Oh. Maybe I'm just not educated on how much it costs right now. Okay, cool. How come you don't send it to the whole database? Just out of curiosity.
Because our whole database right now is over 750 people. So from a cost standpoint, we decided to just minimize it to top 250.
Yeah. Okay. You know what's happening in my mind right now, right?
I have a feeling, but I don't want to assume.
300 people and you get 4 leads a month.
Yeah.
So if you mailed to 600 people, you'd get 8 leads a month. And if you mailed to 1,200 people, you'd get 16 leads a month. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I like where you're going with that.
I mean, I don't know. It's like I see this, and I see it all the time. Like a loan officer will do something that works and then not repeat it.
Mm.
Or they'll do like a movie matinee, but only invite a certain part of their database instead of inviting everybody.
Yeah.
Everybody either knows someone with a mortgage or wants to have a mortgage.
Yep.
Like everybody.
Yeah.
I don't know. So on the letters from the heart, the thing that cracks me up about those letters is like when we teach people on their database is 1 month mail an EOS, an evidence of success postcard. Second month mail a letter from the heart. A letter from the heart is 1 page. It is wide margins, not super narrow margins. It's big font, not super tiny font. You're not writing a 2,000-word essay. You're writing 3 paragraphs that are super short, hopefully funny, share some pain, and have a call to action.
Yep.
That's it.
That's it.
You don't write a whole, it ain't the letter that goes out on Christmas to your family about little Billy and all that stuff. And you don't want to do a letter from the heart and tell them how great your life is and how great your kids are.
Correct.
Why?
It makes them feel inferior, like they're
it's like fake book. They don't want to be around you if you're perfect.
Yeah.
They don't want to be nowhere near you.
Yeah.
Let them into the fights. Like this morning, I'm getting Nick ready for school. I swear I asked him 7 times to put his shoes on. 7 times. He's not 2 years old. We leave the house every morning at the same time. We have the same thing for breakfast. We have Cheerios. We get up at 6:30. We take a shower. We eat some Cheerios. We get ready for school. We pack the backpack. We hit the door at 7:05. Every morning. It's 7:02, and I'm yelling at him, get his shoes on, driving me nuts. So I made this sign in the bathroom. That says, make your bed, brush your teeth, put your shoes on before you come out.
Love that.
Don't do it.
Can't believe it.
Sidebar. So, I think one of the things we have to cover every time we meet with a client or when we touch base with our TBDs, it seems like people are scared or see no value in calling their pre-approvals. And would you rather call a new lead or a pre-approved client that's out shopping? I would rather call a pre-approved client that's out shopping.
100%.
So I think the question we have to answer every time we're talking to people is why buy now? Why buy right now? So what's your answer? Why should people buy right now?
Building wealth. And for me, the tax benefit of having interest to write off. So I had this story where I've been telling it more and more. He's a young kid. We got him into a house in December of 2020. So we had a full 2021 worth of interest that he was writing off. And so he goes to do his taxes the next year. And he literally, he's telling me this when I had an anniversary call with him. He goes, Mark, I had to ask my dad if this was correct. When I did my taxes, he goes, Dad, are you sure I should be seeing this much money back? He goes, yeah, it's because you're a homeowner now. You got to write off all that interest. And he was like the happiest kid ever. I love that. And so I'm like, you know what? Can I share that story? Because that's a great testimony because people forget. They're so fearful of the payment and all that. I'm like, the bigger the payment, the bigger the write-off, right? Like there's so much opportunity here. And you get to build equity wealth in the meantime. So those are my two ways that I combat any sort of fear with market.
Yeah. So if you guys are listening, when you do your professional presentations, you got to have a sheet of paper. And for the pre-approved amount, you got to go into the amortization schedule and Encompass and figure out how much of the payment is interest and how much of the payment is principal. And you got to write it down on a sheet. Tax deductions, all the interest in a month, all the mortgage insurance, if any in a month, all the property tax, multiply it by 25%. That's how much they could save in taxes. You got to always tell them, hey, go check this out with your CPA. Make sure I'm right. It depends on your tax bracket. Uh-oh, you're going to show me something. Cool. So the second thing you look at is the amount that goes to principal. So the amount that goes to principal is the forced savings. So part of their payment goes to pay down their loan. Right now, if they're paying rent, none of their payment goes to pay down the loan. So that's building wealth. That's like money in the bank. It's a savings account. And then the last thing that's on there is the appreciation. In California, it's 3%.
Yep.
So you take their sales price, multiply it by 3% and divide it by 12. That's how much money on average their house is going up each month. Now, some years it goes down, some years it goes up by 15%. You got to say that to them in the meeting. Some years it goes down, some years it goes up by 15%. But over the long haul, it's 3% on average. How long are you going to keep your house? What do they always say? Forever. We say 5 to 10 years because that's what we know they're going to do. when you ask them, especially a first-time home buyer, they almost always, like 8 out of 10 say forever.
Yeah.
And maybe they will. They probably won't live in it though. Yeah. So you got to answer the question, why buy now? I think it's the most important thing. So,
You asked me for 2 methods on what I'm doing right now that's really
you
working.
got another one. I'm ready, and then we'll wrap this up.
Yeah, perfect. So you and I taught a class in regards to leveraged events, and at the beginning of the year, you told me that I needed to do double of whatever I was doing, whether it was double calls, double time, double events. And so that's what I did. I looked at my marketing calendar and we doubled up on events. So we've done four client appreciation events. We've got our 2 big realtor events. We've got other leveraged events that we're doing on the side. So it's just a bunch of high activity. And those are the ones where we invite the entire database to, family and all.
So you're just making everything double. That's your biggest tactic, is double greatness tracker and invite twice as many people to your events.
Correct.
I love it. Yeah. So, I always tell that silly story about how many people you went to high school with. How many people did you go to high school with?
Well, I graduated in Singapore. And so I went to an international school, and literally my graduating class was about 28 people.
What?
Yeah.
You went to Singapore?
Yeah.
I heard that's like the crazy coolest place on the planet.
It really is. It's like on my bucket list to go back. It's like 25 years later.
Isn't that where, like, if you put gum on the sidewalk, you get arrested?
Yes, sir.
And they get like caned, I think. They get beat with a stick.
Yes, sir.
Did you get beat with a stick?
No, I did not.
You did not get. I look like you might get in trouble now and then.
No, I was a good boy.
You were a good boy?
I was a good boy in Singapore. No way. I'm not messing with those rules. Yeah.
Yeah. So let me finish with this. I think that you got to do something to create sales. I think you got to do first-time home buying seminars. I think that you got to do, like, be willing to door knock with realtors. I think that you got to do something. You got to do you got to do like a personal budget leveraged event with your database. I think you have to do something to create leads on your own or with a realtor, in addition to just trying to earn their referrals when they have them.
Yeah.
Like, I think when I see the people who are just counting on realtor referrals or just counting on builder referrals, and builder referrals are drying up. I mean, that market is changing so fast, it's crazy. I mean, it changed so much in 6 months, it's nuts. So if you're just in one pillar of business, it's just drying up.
Yeah.
So I think you got to do something to create sales. Is there anything that you're doing right now to create new sales or create sales, like where you're creating it? Like, I think of mailing to an apartment complex twice a month and holding a monthly home buying event somewhere nearby the apartment complex is creating sales. It's partnering with a realtor to do something to get business. I think doing direct mail to non-owners, not that I would do that, is a way to create sales. Is there anything that you're doing that reach out like that?
Yeah. So I've got, like I said before, I've got a designated dialer, a person who just like slams the phones and just dials for dollars. What I've done is, on some of my higher referring partners, I've actually given them my dialer to call their stale and old leads on their behalf. So what I do is I have all of their database uploaded into PhoneBurner. PhoneBurner lets me change the caller ID, so it's coming from Jim Reed's phone number. She's literally calling on behalf of Jim Reed's real estate agency. You expressed some interest in the past about purchasing a home or selling a home. And so that's what I'm doing to leverage and give them not only my employee, my time, my money, but it literally, in 2 weeks of one dialer calling one database, she's able to generate 8 qualified buyers for this one referring partner.
Wow. That is creating sales. I love it. So listen, thank you for being part of our podcast, being a coach for our program, being an example. Keep it up. I want you to get back to a 3-person team as soon as possible. I say by March of next year. What do you think?
I'm on it. I'm already working on it.
Yes, it's no fun to go backwards. It's temporary, not permanent. So if
That's
you're listening
right.
to this, it's temporary, not permanent. Don't act like it's permanent. Just outwork it and make it a temporary problem. All right. Thank you, Mark. Thank you, guys.
Thank you
Have
so
a
much.
great day. Bye.